mentioned people, and that's a key area, because whilst this is a technology conference and it is about digital transformation, one of the prerequisites of that is collaboration between different teams, different people, and different organizations, from an OEM straight down to tier 1, 2, 3, 4, and whether it's cybersecurity or whether it's sharing data. There are challenges in that. So what's your thoughts on collaboration and trust issues, I suppose, between the different partners?
Yeah, and I think we can maybe break that down internally and externally. Again, if we're talking about manufacturers, there needs to be a strong cross-sector, or cross-functional collaboration. So as simple as the data team working with the business side with logistics and working with the IT teams to understand which solutions are needed, how they should be built internally or through a vendor with the right interface, etc. And in this case, for the audience we're talking about here, the voice of what the logistics teams need is really powerful. I need visibility of this. I need shipment data. I need freight payment data. And working with the teams to realize that it can't be so siloed that, okay, I put in a service request, it goes to the central IT team, it goes into a queue, there's a resource issue, the response comes back weeks later, a solution is developed 6 months later, it's out of date. Those days are pretty much over, I would think, but this needs to be done in a very agile way, iterative, step by step. So internally, this cross-functional aspect is growing, and we see really, really specific evidence of that. So, Nissan talked about how the supply chain management innovation team, the sort of in areas like data analytics, this is led by Will Leek and together with Gracia Luna, who is our speaker at their event. This team is now becoming very cross-functional. It already operated in a cross-functional way with IT and data, but now the same team is part of an integration with purchasing and with manufacturing to bring very similar processes and updates to systems and to skills across those other domains. And it's interesting to note that supply chain management in this case is more mature in this, which in some ways isn't a surprise because the data that's coming through is just so extreme. So that internal collaboration, cross-functional aspect is just accelerating and needs to. Otherwise, to be honest with you, companies are going to be stuck moving very slow.
Yeah.
And then externally, here it's again, it's an interesting mix. So on the one hand, if we're talking about supplier mapping and we're talking about monitoring, this doesn't always need to be an active collaboration. This can be, tools and systems that allow OEMs or tier ones to actually check for risks and check for activities, whether it's cyber risk or whether it's weather or financial, and try to be proactive. But also, where they can help and warn the supplier along the way, maybe send a team in actively if there's an area they think they can help them improve. I think that aspect maybe isn't so directly collaborative, but the most powerful will be those where the exchange of information and of knowledge, I think, is a commitment on both sides. And it's an understanding from be it logistics provider or be it tier one, that by sharing information in a safe and secure way, they will not just fill a compliance requirement, but they will help the supply chain to be stronger. They will help an optimization, and they'll be an active part of it. It does raise interesting questions around potential ways companies are compensated. What does optimization mean? Removing routes that I run? What does that mean? But anyway, I think that needs to be a holistic view, and I think the power of that information is just so clear. But we've heard in the events there will be some resistance, and there will be fear, both internally about will this tool take my job? Can I trust it? And externally as well, in terms of, what does my customer really want with that information? And that, I think, needs to be addressed at a personal level, on relationships, and of course on robust processes and agreements that show the trust and security is built into the system.
And talking of trust.